Welcome back to DreamHack Winter 2012 and to the Logitech CSGO Championship. I am an idiot, by the way, and of course there are 4 teams that went through, not 3, which means that we've got one more special guest, which is Mr. Sam Gaughan of, well, close by me, that's all I'm going to say in the UK, aka RattlesnK, of course, from Now Sports. Welcome. Congratulations, quarter-final spot is yours, much against this man's predictions.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just happy that we managed to get through the group because we had quite respectable opponents in ESC and Fnatic, and I mean, anything could have happened in that group because, I mean, we haven't played that much and neither had Fnatic, and ESC has obviously shown their caliber throughout the years, and I'm just happy that we managed to get through it.
Yeah, it's an incredible group, really. On paper, it's like possibly the greatest Counter-Strike group ever put together in a group stage,
yeah.
but it's different because we are in a different game. In terms of your results against NiP being quite close, how far away do you think you really are as a team from where NiP are right now, above everyone else?
I think consistency-wise, we're probably quite a long way below them at the moment because we haven't played it long enough together and stuff. But I think on our day we can beat them. But it just sort of, I mean, they've been playing together now for what, like 3, 4. Maybe even 5 months. I mean, I can't remember now when they first formed together, but that's a long time between, like, say, 2-3 weeks playing with our players. So the result we got against them was, I think, relatively strong considering how much we played. And I mean, if we stay together and then carry on playing for like 2 more months, I think we'll be on the same sort of level as them.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
And you've lost none of your fire, have you? You're still out there belting out the orders.
Yeah.
What are you doing with that smoke? You're just still out there doing the same thing you were doing 5 years ago. It's great.
Yeah, I still rage and I'm still smashing that table. So I don't know. If I wasn't doing that, you'd know I sort of don't have the motivation anymore.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
Did you honestly think that you could qualify? I mean, you wouldn't have come out here if you didn't think you could finish in the top 2 and qualify. But when you looked at your group, did you just go, "Oh, Jesus, how are we going to get out of this group?"
Yeah, I mean, I remember when Jim messaged me, I think on Facebook, and I saw the group.
Do you think he was winding you up?
And yeah, I just laughed. All Jim put was just, there's people in our group, and he just said, "lol" at the end of it. That was it. And I was just like, well, all right then. I just thought, well, pretty much all the other groups we'd have rather been in, but I mean, I guess we'll take it now because we've gone through. But at the time, we were thinking like, yeah, the only good thing about it was not having to play NiP in the knockout games because now, I mean, obviously they're the strongest team for us, so Very Games or any of them other teams, they're sort of, I'd say, a level below. I mean, even Very Games, they've had close games against NiP, but I still don't think they've been anywhere near being able to beat them. I think NiP have looked quite comfortable, so to not be able to play them, I think is a good thing for us.
Yeah. So, one last thing before, and I'll let you then. You can tear it to pieces. Is the semi-finals a realistic chance because you don't have to play NiP? And if so, if you reach the semi-finals, top 4. Would you walk away from it? I know you're never happy wherever you finish unless it's first, but do you go away from DreamHack Winter and go, actually, that was quite successful? No one expected us to do that.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, top 3 for us, I reckon, is our goal. I mean, that's what we're aiming for. It's just, when it comes down to like the knockout stages, we're just hoping that we get a relatively easy route. We don't really want to get Very Games the next round.
Now,
I know there's not easy games,
like
but
now.
For us, I mean, I'd rather avoid Very Games, don't have to play NiP, and the other teams, I'm happy with playing them. I mean, I don't particularly mind.
We're gonna let our resident show dog off the leash now.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about Very Games because I know you played Source and that's where they're known. And I think they've actually changed a couple of players from some of the time that they were winning a lot in CS Source. That's what people always bring up. And I agree that, like you said, that they've actually looked, actually NIPs look pretty comfortable when they beat in Very Games, even though there's been a couple of close games. If you just look at the results, I mean, how much worse do you actually, or how much better rather, do you think NIP actually is than Very Games?
I definitely think they're better than them right now. I think Very Games, just before Copenhagen Games, when they got rid of Shoxy and all of that whole situation, that really messed them up. And I know, like, after Copenhagen Games, they went to an I-Series and they won that tournament, but it was like, there was no good teams there. So they won that event and then everyone was like, wow, Very Games are back, but they weren't really back necessarily. It was just like they won a tournament where it was kind of like not that big. And now with CSGO, I don't know if they're practicing the amount they did with CSS and stuff. I don't really know because I haven't been in touch that much with the scene, but I don't think they're sort of putting as much effort in as they did originally in CSS. I don't know really what's going on with them, but when I watch them, they don't seem as like the cohesion between the team is nowhere near as good as it was in CSS. They're making mistakes and sort of they seem to be failing under the pressure, I think.
Yeah, the thing that I've noticed is people always used to say that as soon as Existence gets a couple of Go TV demos and a month to practice with the team and all that stuff, they're going to just get heaps better just very quickly. And they seem to be making the same mistakes. I saw their match against NIP a couple of days ago, and it looks like they're still making the same mistakes they made in Valencia and the same mistakes they made in Paris. And it doesn't really seem like they're quite catching up as fast as people think. That's what I'm curious. Which one do you think will happen first? Do you think people will dethrone Very Games as the second best team, or do you think Very Games will beat NiP? Because to me, it seems like Very Games is in danger of losing that so far cushion second spot.
I'd kind of say at the moment, like Very Games, as I said, I don't think the players in the team are as good as what they were before with Shoxy, so it's kind of a decision they've made. And now, towards like the strats that I've seen them do, they just seem to wolfpack around the map, like 4 go one way, 1 go the other way, and they sort of just go in there and hope that they're going to win the round, rather than NiP have a more of a style probably more similar to us in terms of they split up more around the map and they take it slower paced and they sort of pick out what they're going to do each round, whereas Very Games might just decide we're going to do this on this round and we're going to do it, whereas NiP will be like, okay, they're playing like this and we're going to send 2 guys here and 2 guys there and execute the strat like that, instead of like on another round they might have set up to say 3 go higher and 2 go lower, and then they find out there's 2 guys there and they'll switch it back, whereas it's kind of Existence will just have a set strat with all these flashes and smokes, which are great, but when you're coming up against much better players, which I think like obviously Forest and Exist and Get Right are, then when they're doing something a bit more crazy because they're individual skill, they have the experience, and they sort of mess up their strats. And in CSS, the players just, they're probably not as good and less aware of the tactical side of it. So when they come up against someone that messes up their strat, they're just like, oh my god, what do I do? And then that's when they're falling down now, is in the top level play, I think.
That's also one thing that I noticed actually when I was watching your match against NiP, is that you seem to play more over like a standard style of CS where you just take all over the map and you don't really rush anywhere. You kind of just take over areas and find out how the team is playing and then decide what you want to do. And me and Threat were talking about this earlier. It seems like no team is that organized so far in CSGO. It seems like almost everyone's kind of taken a step back in terms of strats, and everybody's just kind of playing more of like an organized pug style of CS, and it just seems to me it's just a downgraded way to play. I mean, it's been proven over the years, at least in 1.6.
Yeah, I mean, I sort of, like, when I do my strats, I don't like the idea of, like, Forest or Get Right, say we're playing on Mirage, they like pushing upper B, say, when they're CT, and lower A, and if you sort of say, okay, we're going to do 3 mid to short and 2 B higher, then they push you, they know you're going there, and then you've basically lost the round as soon as they know that. So you kind of have to hold your position and sort of wait to see if they push, and then leave a lot more time, and then you know that they have no idea what you're doing. It's kind of like the knowledge game, where if you allow them to sort of push places and find out where you're going, what they'll do is they'll push, find out where you're going, then fall back, and then it looks to you like they sort of don't know what you're doing, and then you end up going to A, which happened to us on like the first few rounds. They had like 4 guys there, 1 under the roof, 1 on the end of house, 1 at electric box, and 1 in CT spawn, and it's like, what the has gone on there?
Yeah, there's not much you can do.
But you know what, we're going to nickname that as Barcelona Counter-Strike. That's what we're going to call it from now on, because it's dynamic, fluid strats, and we love it. We used to call it sexy Counter-Strike. I think we're going with Barcelona Counter-Strike right now. Thank you very much for joining us. Congratulations, you guys are through to the quarterfinal, representing the UK and Norway as well. What's that all about, by the way?
I don't know. Just love the Nords.
Well, congrats, well played today, and we'll see you again in the quarterfinal tomorrow. That's Mr. RattlesnK, Sam Gorn. He's going to drop out for us, and we're going to bring in Threat to have a chat about the Group C and Group D. So thank you very much for joining us, Sam.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you. As Threat will now come in and join us. We're just going to wrap up today at the end. Yeah, get rid of it. Whatever. Anyway, yeah, thanks to all of our guests for joining us. All 4 teams sending over a player from the qualified teams in the 2 groups. So, guys, welcome back, Threat. How you doing? You've been hanging out with all the players.
What did you say?
I said, have you been hanging out with everyone? Is that what you?
Yeah, I've been watching you guys.
Oh, have you? Okay, that's very good. So, how was it for you today? How was the Counter-Strike go? Was it good? Was it mediocre? Was it great in places? What did you enjoy?
Well, a lot of the games were very uneven, so I didn't really like that. But there was some surprises. But yeah, I still want one team to beat NiP. I think it's.
I think
that's all I have to say.
We're all ganging up on Nip now. I think it's funny, isn't it? Because Lurpis, you've been in this position before. You've seen like Fnatic roll a whole year. You've seen ESC when they used to be Pentagram roll a whole year. You've seen SK roll a whole year. It is kind of boring, but at the same time, it's a challenge as well, right?
Well, I mean, I wouldn't call it boring because I still enjoy watching the best teams play. Even if the same team ends up winning, it's just all the more impressive. So it just depends what you're looking for in the game.
It's too early right now to be saying Nip's dominating, it's boring though, isn't it? It's way too early. Well, it's 2 LAN events.
I mean, they are by far it's clear when you watch them play, they are a level above everybody else currently. But, I mean, there's no doubt in my mind that they're going to get some more challengers in the coming months when teams like Fnatic and Navi get more accustomed to CSGO and actually start playing it. Like I said when RattlesnK was up here, I really think Very Games' stock is about to take a dip.
Get rid of your shares in Very Games.
The investors might want to just get rid of it ASAP. There's still some buyers.
No, absolutely. And Corey, how much do you think having 2 Source players, high level, and 3 1.6 players in NIP has helped them become the best team? Or do you just think it's down to the actual individuals? It doesn't matter which game they go?
No, I think it definitely comes into play, especially you look at the 2 teams that passed through there in Group A with NIP and Mouse Sports, and you also look over on the other side. The only team that's kind of the interesting factor is the Pro Gaming TD, where they come in with mostly with 1.6 players. But again, Fnatic, they struggled because they didn't have that Source element coming into play. I think, yeah, you definitely have to have that blend between the 2. It was mentioned during one of our interviews that they brought knowledge into the game, but then you had RattlesnK there at the end that sit there and said, but the tactical side of it,
yes,
those clutch situations. Yeah. So you have your Source players who are making all those different types of calls. They're setting up the smokes, the flashes. They're all precise down to a T, and then you have a 1.6 guy going, no. And then after that point, that's where you have to have that adaptation where the 1.6 players kind of come into play and show you how to really
I think it's quite exciting though, right?
That's great. I think
it's like perfect. A new dynamic version of CS with the shiny graphics. It's what we wanted, isn't it? Or is it?
Yes and no. We had this discussion this morning at breakfast. We were talking about how teams play and how unorganized CS is. Yeah. And we were both strat callers the whole time we played, so it's just a bummer watching teams play as almost like a pug, right?
Yeah. But didn't that frustrate you earlier with the game we were playing? We did with Pro Gaming was ridiculous in some. And we look at it, they were like, we're 8-2 up. We're just going to play like a pickup team. It was mind blowing how frustrating it was.
I mean, there's so much potential for good strategies in this game, but nobody seemed to utilize it. To be honest.
The loud music has returned. I want to get your thoughts, guys, before we finish off tonight. Group C and Group D tomorrow. Obviously, we've got Very Games. They're pretty much a lock. If they don't get through their group, that would be a massive shock. So let's pretend they go through. You've got Hawks from Finland. He's not allowed to talk about them. And we've got 3D Max from Denmark, plus a BYOC team. That's wide open, surely. That group is wide open, apart from Very Games. Would you agree, disagree?
I don't know. I think Very Games will take it pretty easily.
Yeah. But then after that, Hawks, 3D. I mean, come on, tell me about the old.
I wrote my preview on ageltv.org. I predicted 3D Max to go through, but I do hope Hawks advance.
Of course. So Heart and Head says 3D Max. Heart says Hawks, right?
Yeah, but we also got some good teams coming in from the BYOC qualifier potential. We got a couple of good Swedes there. Got Absolute Legends.
Yep.
And Western Wolves.
Yep. And no WRTT.
No,
that's a whole.
No, shockingly, they have.
Did I really just raise that? Thorgate.
Wow.
Let's move quickly on.
They run the town. They don't run the land.
Absolutely, they run the town, not the land. And moving on to Group D. Group D's also got 3 teams in it right now. We'll also pick up one from the BYOC as well, but it also has the German team in Faculty, who are a bit of a hot and cold team as far as I'm concerned. One day they'll go out and they'll be like, yes, we can beat Very Games, and then the next day they're losing to a random Russian pickup team.
No,
what is going on with them?
I think what really is the thing within Faculty is they were really good with Molotovs, and then they played Inferno and they won Inferno 3 times at ESWC. Yeah. They didn't even have close games on any other map. Yeah. No, they've gotten demolished online since then, and I think they're going to get demolished tomorrow, and then we won't have to talk about them anymore.
All right, well let's move that one quickly. We also have the second American team, Team Dynamic.
I didn't get to talk about Hawks. I say we skip them.
Okay, let's move on.
Right,
So what do you reckon? Team Dynamic have surely got a
Put you back on
chance
the
of
spot.
qualifying from that group, haven't they?
Yeah, I think so. But no, I really think NM Faculty and NXS will proceed from that group.
Really?
Yeah.
You don't think? What about you, Lopez? You must have a view on this. Dynamic?
I think Dynamic is going to go through. I don't think they're very good. They showed two different types of their team at ESCA finals. The first day they were terrible, and the second day they were pretty good.
Yeah.
We were talking about this earlier. They have Swag, who could just run over both those teams and the third team on the group if he had a good day. But that requires for Dynamic to allow them to play.
This is killing me. This is killing me. I've been sitting here this whole time just waiting
he needs
to
to
say
be
something.
allowed to play the way that he wants to play. I think they restrict him too much. It's sort of like
That's a
when
good
he
point.
used to play with
Very good
Forrest,
point.
and he told me that you don't restrict Forrest. You let Forrest do what he wants to do because he's good at it.
It's a very, very key point. I mean, one of the things that we saw there at the ESCA event is they had two sets of players. That was Kiko and Swag. They were playing Counter-Strike 1.6. At the exact same time, they had three members, Pex, AZK, and Adren. They're from the original Team Dynamic for Counter-Strike Source. They were playing Source at the time. And then at the end of the day, they had to come together and play Counter-Strike Global Offensive. The Deagle shots are completely different in both games, just all across the board. That's why you probably saw that early kind of, I don't know what's going on right now. They got defeated there by DTA at that event. You got sent down to the loser's bracket. That's where they changed gears in that second day. So, but the thing is, I'm kind of up in the air on Dynamic. I know I just kind of talked them up a little bit. I'm still up on the air because Swag is good. Everyone knows this. Even I spoke with Alex from Navi yesterday, and he even brought up Swag. I didn't even mention his name. He brought it up. So that 16-year-old you need to be on the lookout for. Kiko is someone that needs to win me over. He's a great 1.6 player whenever it comes to getting those entry frags. Getting the entry frags. I didn't say it all around. Okay, all right.
I think he's a good friend of Swag's.
Different perspective. But whenever it comes to Counter-Strike Global Offensive, I just don't see it. But for the rest of the guys, Pex, Adren, and AZK, they're very consistent. Yeah. They will do the same thing over and over again.
But do you not think they're the North American NIP potentially? That melding of 1.6.
It's the effort. It's the effort to try to pull it off.
Here's the difference. They don't have the best North American players.
Yeah,
NIP
that
has
is
the
right.
best European players.
Nothing I can say to
Ouch.
that. Nothing I can
All right.
argue with. Thank
At
you
least you have
very
the best
much,
American
guys. They're going to carry on arguing in the background. We're going to take a break for the evening. That's it, done and dusted from day one here at the DreamHack Logitech €40,000 Counter-Strike Go Championship. It's been a crazy day already. Tomorrow we're back with Group C and Group D. You'll know the BYOC winners from each of those as well. And we'll do 2 quarterfinals tomorrow night before we head into the final day, where this lot will take you through. My thanks to all of you, Corey, Lapis, and to Thread as well. And we'll see you tomorrow. Thank you very much for tuning in. We'll see you tomorrow.